Dr. Murali Krishna, distinguished delegates, dear students. At the outset, I would like to congratulate IIFPT director and his team and students for completing 50 years. I have a special affinity for this institute because when it was PPRC, I was in a team which upgraded this institute to IICPT. And today we see how much it has grown. So my topic today is the modern food processing technologies, drivers for nation's prosperity. If we compare our country with the developed nations are US, Canada, and European nations. If we look at those countries compared to our country, we see that they are almost 6 months under the snow. Right? They are under 6 months under the snow. That means how many crops they must be growing in a year? Must be growing only one crop. Whereas this is the country which is a blessed country. We almost take 3 to 4 crops in a year. And you name the crop in the world, we take that crop. Most of the fruits and vegetables, they are considered to be the nutraceuticals and functional foods, and we grow them in plenty. Dr. Swaminathan once said that India could be a grain bowl of the world or the food bowl of the world, because he said that in future cereals may not be consumed that much, but the people would like to consume more of the fruits and vegetables, and they cannot grow it there in those countries, whereas we can grow it here. Because all those crops, the fruits and vegetables or horticulture crops, they are highly labor intensive, and we have a labor with us. Fruits, we have plenty of fruits. If you look at the whole year, every time we will have some seasonal fruit available in the market. And when the fruit is available in the market, it is within the reach of everybody. The rich people will take the number 1 grade, whereas the poor people will take the number 2 and number 3 grade. But though number 2 and number 3 grade, they differ in the size and shape, their quality is not compromised by the God. And in spite of having those resources with us, why we are so poor and so malnourished? Because we ourselves are unfortunate. For example, every fruit is a treasure house of the vitamins. Every leafy vegetable is a treasure house of the minerals. If we consume properly, I don't think we need any help from WHO to give the supplements to our people. In this hall, generally wherever I go for giving lectures, I do a survey. In this hall, I would like to ask that how many people are there, those who take 1 fruit a day? Raise your hand. I see only 20 hands coming up out of these 500 people. So who stops you from doing that? Because 1 banana costs only 2 rupees or 3 rupees. 1 guava, when it comes in the market, it may be even 50 paise. If you take 1 fruit a day, I think you don't need anything more than that. Second thing is that how many people take leafy vegetable every day? Raise your hands. I see only 4 hands. So what is this happening? Leafy vegetables are so easy to grow. For example, spinach. If you grow it in the courtyard or if you grow in the gallery, it will take maybe 3 weeks to grow the crop, and then you get all those minerals. So this is what is the crux of the problem. We have everything here, but still we don't consume it properly, and that is why we are malnourished. Nobody is to be blamed for that. And we don't need international help for this matter. We are ourselves self-sufficient. Only thing is that we should make a habit of eating balanced food. I remember there is a Sanjay Gupta who is a CNN correspondent, medical correspondent to CNN. In fact, he is of Indian origin in US. He was offered a job by Dr. Obama to become a Secretary of Health. But he refused because his salary in CNN was so high, the government was not paying even 10% of that to that fellow. So he said, sir, thank you very much. I will give you advice whenever you want. But I may not join the government of United States of America. And when somebody asked him how we should live healthy, what we should eat, he said, if you consume Indian thali every day, you won't have to go to the doctor. Indian thali means what is there in that thali? You have chawal, dal, sabji, or egg sabji, or dal mein palak, achar, dahi, roti, isn't it? So it is so balanced. The problem is we have stopped eating balanced food. And that is why we are malnourished. So that was the scenario of India and the developed nations. They are looking at us. When they are looking at us, why can't take this opportunity, bring up the entrepreneurship in the food processing, and we are the future. In fact, with this wealth means progress. All those developed nations they are very wealthy. But what has happened because of that wealth? They have cars everywhere. Even for going to a little bit of shopping, they have to go by car. Same thing is happening in India also. For a little bit of shopping, we go by scooter. So this wealth has created not the regular diseases, but the lifestyle diseases. Because what we consume, we don't exert much. Exercise is very much required. And those exercises are lacking there as well as here. And that is why we need to take care of our health. So wealth, as it increases the market for food scientists. The future, for example, if you have other disease, if you have any other disease, malaria and all those things, you need to take tablets for that. But for lifestyle diseases, tablet is not a solution, and the food is the only solution. And when the food is the solution, where are we food scientists? In fact, that is our market. In future, doctors are not going to be worshipped by the people for saviors, but the food scientists and food entrepreneurs will be worshipped because they will be providing the very good quality food to the population. So let us go to the first slide. So that is about the Indian scenario. I think if somebody help me to just forward it, I will do that myself. Okay, yeah. This is the Indian perspective. What is happening every year by year, the GDP from Indian agriculture is going down because the farmer is not getting the good price. Farmer will get good price only when the processing increases. Because when the processing increases, every fruit, you will handle it properly. You will not waste it. And whatever wastage happens, leads to the farmer's loss, not the middleman's loss. I will tell you a story. When I was in Punjab, director of one of the institutes, there were a lot of tomato growers in that area. And from that tomato growers, one trader used to collect all those tomatoes. And he used to give 3 rupees a kilogram to them. And he used to fill the truck as if he is filling the grain. No crates. And he used to fill the truck, and there will be few people sitting on those trucks. And then that used to go to Delhi, to Azadpur Mandi. You can imagine 350 kilometers taking to Azadpur Mandi, what might be happening. Then somebody told him, why are you doing like this? Your tomatoes might be getting crushed. Why don't you use the crates? He said, why should I use the crates? I buy it at 3 rupees a kilogram here, and in Azadpur Mandi, I sell it at 20 rupees a kilogram. And Delhi fellows pay 40 rupees a kilogram for it. If the crushing is more, I will make it 30 rupees, and the people will pay 60 rupees. So this is the situation in our country. The farmer grows, he gets only 3 rupees or 5 rupees. He will not get more than that. But whereas our own brothers and sisters, those who are living in the cities or towns, they pay about 50 to 60 or 80 rupees a kilogram. So the crux of the moral of the story is, the farmer is never going to benefit unless it is processed, because traders, they never lose. They will always add the price in the cost which they lost. Okay? And the consumer will keep on paying more. And that is why the food processing is such a driver of the nation's economy. If the more of the food processing, the more and more the farmer's happiness will be there. Then India produces, how much we produced? 275 million tons of food grains. Out of those 275 million tons, 10% we lose. That means 27.5 million tons of food grains we lose, just because we don't store it properly, we lose a lot. And when it is lost, that means we don't need it that much. Once you go to the industry, the fellow who is making soya, for example, wheat flour, whatever he purchases, he will not lose in that. Because every grain ground into flour makes him money. So, but if it is stored by the government warehouses, you will see that there is a lot of losses. Similarly, in the fruits and vegetables, our production is 305 million tons. It is a record production. And this is the wealth of your nutraceuticals, your functional foods, and in that, there are about 20 to 30% losses are there. 20 to 30% losses, and that comes to 1 lakh crores per year. It is a huge criminal waste what we are doing. And all those fruits and vegetables, they do not come in the same size or shape. They are not a homogeneous lot. Because 60% will be the grade 1, which will go to the urban market, and grade 2 and grade 3, which are 40%, they don't get any market at all. Poor fellows also don't eat it. We have seen the survey that everybody doesn't consume the fruit every day. So that is wasted, lost, and that is a nation's loss, a big one. And that can be used for food processing industries. Then level of systematic processing, as our Joint Secretary told, it is only 10%. Whereas food processing is such a simple thing. I always tell, most of the time what happens when I go for a lecture, before that, some dignitary must have talked about it. And he says that food processing is very complex, it is very difficult to handle, and you need about 10 crores for putting up this plant, 20 crores for putting up this plant. And when I go, I say that food processing doesn't require anything. Because the thing which you can do in the kitchen, the thing which we can do in the lab, why should it require crores of rupees? With few lakhs of rupees, you can establish a very good food processing industry. Only thing what you need is a cleanliness, hygiene, standardization, and all those things have to be maintained. So, if the food processing is highly employment intensive, if you look at the data from one of our own institute, every 10 lakh invested, you get 2 direct jobs and 6 indirect jobs. So that much is contributes to the nation's wealth if there is a food processing industry. And Indian produce have unique aroma, flavor, taste, nutritional properties, health benefits. They are all jamun, amla, bell fruit, avla, pomegranate, custard apple, and all those things. In fact, I had an opportunity to stay for 8-10 years abroad. I used to teach those fellows. I used to tell them that how many colors you have. You have a white and black color. Whereas look at the shades we are having. And to get those shades, you will require millions of years. Same thing for the crops. I say that you can go on the Mars and Moon, but you cannot grow our turmeric. You cannot grow our jamun. You cannot grow our sitafal. And those things we will only grow, and you will need them for healthy living. And that is why, friends, these are all fruits and vegetables, are wealth of functional foods, nutraceutical foods, and try to consume from tomorrow 1 fruit a day and leafy vegetable every day in your diet. Next. So the reasons for losses, I already told you, I won't go into it. But higher the processing, better will be the post-harvest management. That means every grain will be properly preserved, or every fruit will be properly preserved, and lower will be the losses, and the farmers will benefit more. Then agro-processing in production catchment, that is what we advocate. What happens, you know, this is the microclimate country. Because in every district, whatever you grow, this another district grows, and that is different in taste. And that is why we propose that we should have a production catchment processing. If we do that, it can provide processed food of the highest quality at affordable cost to the consumers, ensure traceability of the raw materials used for processed product, hence great for export and elite urban market. If you can maintain the traceability in the produce which you produce as well as you process, you will have the American market for that. And if you get American market, a rupee gets $1. Okay? That much value addition takes place. But only thing is that you have to be clean, you have to be hygienic, you have to be following all standards, national, international, and everything. And if you are prepared to do that, I think you have the world market. Then effective backward linkages with farmers for processing their raw produce. When you have a processing industry, you would like to get a good quality raw material. Definitely then you will going to contract with the farmers, and farmers, you are going to pay them little better price compared to if they sell it in the open market. Then shorten the supply chain and reduce the post-harvest losses. So what are the drivers of food processing? The first thing is increasing middle class. Market for ready-to-eat, ready-to-cook processed product is growing day by day. Then improved understanding of dietary requirement. Today morning and whole day we will be listening that our dietary requirement of this, our dietary requirement of this, and we should consume. But we will be speaking that, and at the end of the day, I will also be eating the junk food and not having the dietary requirements met. breeding and cultivation of processable varieties. That was a complaint earlier, that the processed varieties are not there. But I don't buy that kind of argument. I say that that is not a big problem. Processable varieties, that was a kind of obstruction for Indian industries to grow. But of course, we have taken that challenge, and now we are breeding and cultivating the processable varieties. Increase awareness about nutraceutical and functional foods, and availability of young educated workforce in the villages for processing activity, food processing activity. Because what is happening, this country is very young, and in every village or small town, there is a college. So most of the people are graduate, whether they have studied properly or not. But those are the graduates, they don't get a job. They are not employable graduates. But once they become graduate, they don't want to go to the farm. They don't want to do the traditional agriculture. So, but they have to do something, because they cannot go out of the village, and they cannot get a job. So this is the best client for us. Tell them that come to the food processing industry and do the processing. And processing means what? It is not the end product, intermediate product. For example, if you go to any ketchup plant, and if you take tomatoes to that fellow, he will say that tomato is not my raw material. Puree is my raw material. So tomato growing region should have the puree plants. And automatically that raw material will be taken by the ketchup making industry. Same thing for pulping industry. If you take the fruits to the juicing industry, they will say that fruit is not my raw material. You give me pulp. And we don't have pulping industries. And there is a tremendous scope for puree making industries, pulping industries, and they don't require much of the investment. And once you produce that and store it in the cold chain properly, I think there is a world market for that. Then I will tell you what are the modern technologies. It is something like the old wine in the new bottle. Because we know that with the growing awareness and growing education, our traditional foods, we are going away from them. And because we are going away from the traditional foods, we need to provide those traditional foods in the modern way. The first example is the groundnut milk, soya milk. Just Dr. Murali Krishnan has already told about soya milk, so I thought that I will talk more about the groundnut milk. All plant-based milk, it is a nutraceutical, full of phytochemicals, micronutrients to fight the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, CHD, CVD, osteoporosis, menopausal syndrome, and blood pressure. But when you want to produce it, you need to have a small capacity machines. So this is the machine or a plant which produces about 20 liters of the milk per batch. And these 20 liters, it costs about 3 to 5 lakhs. And always the groundnut as well as the soybean, they have the nutty flavor. And if you want to reduce the nutty flavor, there should be the airless grinding or vacuum grinding. And vacuum grinding becomes expensive, so the system has been evolved in such a way that while grinding, we put the steam inside. And when it is ground in the presence of steam, there is no oxygen for oxidation, and that lipoxygenase activity will not be creating problem for the flavor development. So this is one which is the modern technology which the entrepreneurs can take it up. Then processed egg products. When I was in US, I found this product. We always take the eggs as such. Raw eggs we buy, boil them, struggle with them to take out the shell, and that is why I consume less. But if you can get the hard boiled and shelled eggs, and I was really surprised to see that in the American market. They even have the scrambled eggs sold. So what is this? This is just to increase the consumption of egg among the people. If you want to make people healthy, it is not the lecture which is required. What is required is eating healthy food every day by you people, isn't it? So this is what it is. Why can't we do it here? So look at it as an enterprise and work on it in that direction. Third is the chips. Chips are very popular for snacking. Extrudates are very popular for snacking. Look at this. They have the chickpea chips are there. Lentil chips are there. Green peas extrudates are there. Why we can't have? This is our raw material, in fact. And the Americans are eating it because they want healthy food. And when we have this opportunity, why we should not do it? And making chips out of this, I think food engineer or food scientist can very easily adopt the technology and make it available to the people. And once it is done, there will be hundreds of factories, and there will be backward linkages for the pulse growers. And if you simply consume dal, you will give only 80 rupees to the dal fellow. But if you consume like this, then the farmer can get about 200 rupees also per kg, and even there won't be any complaint. Because these chips, you know that how much the junk food chips you are eating, made of the potato. And that one, for 5 grams, you give about maybe 10 rupees, isn't it? So this is one, legume chips and extrudates. Turmeric processing. I was surprised to see in the Costco that turmeric is available in the different forms. Very nice powder, so that every day they can take in the milk or in the water. And Americans have started taking turmeric powder or turmeric intake every day for keeping themselves healthy. Because functional food, it is a functional food. Because due to its health promoting properties, used as antioxidant, digestive, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic agent, it lowers total cholesterol, and all those things are written there on the top. And these are the products you see. Even capsules are available, that powder is available, liquid is available. So we have that simple technologies to do this. It is not a rocket science, but only thing is that your willpower is required to go into the industry, and cleanliness, hygiene, and sanitization has to be followed. Next, healthy sweetener Jaggery. This Jaggery contains phytochemicals and important vitamins and minerals, potassium, magnesium, iron, zinc, selenium, calcium, antioxidants. It cleanses the body, prevents constipation, and all these things which it does. What is that? That is a functional food. That is a nutraceutical. And if you can put up such a plant, they give the liquid Jaggery, give the powder Jaggery, and they give the cube Jaggery, then people will definitely buy it, and because there is urban market which is aware about these things, it's growing. Because what is happening, earlier we used to spend about 50% of our salary towards food. Now we are spending only 10% of salary towards food, and then that is why we can become choosy, and we can give premium to these kind of products which are available in the market. Then onion. For example, onion dewatering. This is the process we have developed. Here they are doing the onion processing, and I suggest that further one step ahead to get the onion juice and onion powder. We dewater the pulp at 60% level, and it takes 67% less time for drying. The quality of powder is good, and this juice, it contains anti-cancer compounds. Then onion juice can lower blood glucose level, fights inflammation, boosts immunity, enhances vision, helps treat the nail fungus, improves fertility, fights acne, may delay wrinkles, that means aging, and boost hair health. गंजे को अगर ओनियन का जूस लगा दिया जाए तो उसके बाल बढ़ जाते हैं, है कि नहीं? लेकिन ओनियन जूस we don't get it. We even don't make it at home, okay? Though you know that onion juice is very good for these things. Earlier in our homes, if you go out and if you have a sunstroke, the onion juice was applied on whole body. And that one, and when you have the shampoos made of egg, shampoos made from milk, why can't we make the shampoos from this onion juice? So that it will have all those properties and people will benefit out of it. So this is something like old wine in the new bottle, okay? You put this old wine in the new fancy bottle and give it to the people. There are buyers outside. Then next is green chili powder and puree. Why only red chili consumption? Because we have to sometimes think that why this traditional process keeps on doing like that. That time there were no dryers, there were no blanching equipment, and that is why it was red chili powder. So why not we have the green chili powder? So this is what it is. Then extrusion processing of legumes and millet. Very simple thing to make the modern product. And specific equipment will be needed. Yes, 5 minutes I have? Okay, I finished. I think they are that. Then what happens, you know, whenever we think about the small scale processing, we always have a problem with the machines. There are no machines which can match to the small scale requirement. And there are specific machines which the Americans will not develop for us. Suppose if you have pomegranate, why should American develop the machine for removing the aerials from the pomegranate? If you have bear, why should American develop a machine for removing the stone out of it? Isn't that? So we have to do that. And those machines are also a challenge for food engineers. If you want to increase the processing level, you need to have the machines which are affordable for the small scale industries. I will give you some examples, specific equipments which we have developed for modern technologies. For example, the extruder. I showed you the earlier slide that the extrusion of millets, it can go very well. But if you look at the extruders, like Wenger extruder, InstaPro extruders, they cost crores. Why should they cost? There is a machine which cost only 2 lakh rupees, manufactured in Delhi. We got it modified as per our use, and that produces about 25 kilograms of the material. And the fellow can make about 25 to 30,000 rupees a month by putting this machine, and he can pass through all the grains, whatever he wants to extrude them. And these are the kind of products you get, the expanded balls. Dehumidifier dryer. Whenever we have these products, we have a need for heat pump dryer or dehumidifier dryer. When we import them, they are very expensive. But at CIE Bhopal, one simple unit, which costs about 1.5 lakhs, has been developed, and it can handle about 20 to 25 kilograms of the material, takes 20 hours for drying. So many our herbal products, which we want to popularize among our own people for the health foods. But we cannot do that because we dry them in sun or we dry them in hot air dryers and they lose their quality. And that is why this is the machine which was developed. Then this is a cryogenic grinder. All the spices what we consume, you must have heard that spices consumed earlier 100 years ago by our forefathers, they never gave any trouble to our body. But today spices when we consume, we have ulcers, we have problems. Why? Because the quality of the pulses, that spices is not the same. Earlier, we used to use the silbatta for grinding. Silbatta means it is a low temperature grinding in the presence of water, and you get all the extracts along with that pungency. But now, because of the dry grinding, what is happening? Almost all the important principles are evaporating, and only pungency remains. So we need to have a cryogenic grinder. Imported cryogenic grinder from Alpine mills in Germany, it costs a lot. So we have developed a cryogenic grinder which costs about 25 lakhs. And suppose if you want to have the haldi to be given as a medicine, just like that Americans are selling it. Every day if you want to take 1 chammach of haldi, then it will not cost the same as it is there in the shop. It will be 10 times more. And people will still buy it because it has essential ingredients more in that. And for that, you need to have the cryogenic grinder, and this is the one which has been developed at CIFET Ludhiana. Then distillation plants. Most of the time, we need to extract things, but the people cannot do that because just like your tomato, mobile tomato processing unit you have developed at IIPT, this is a distillation plant developed by IHBT in Palampur. So they take it to different places in the farmer's field, and if they have some grasses grown, which can give the scents and those kind of essential oils, they use it there and there itself, custom hire basis. In the food industry, one problem is the working capital is very high. Suppose if I have a dal mill, it costs only 70,000 rupees. But every quintal of grain, it costs about 5,000 rupees, and 10 quintals it to be purchased 50,000 rupees. So it is always good to go for custom hiring and at the same time production. So custom hiring means the people will come, bring their produce, get it done from you, and you charge only for that purpose. Or if you want, you can charge in the kind. There are many people in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, because of the lot of tur production, they have started this business, and they are asking some 3 kilograms or 5 kilograms per quintal processed. So by end of the day, he has a lot of dal without investing anything, and then he does it and sells it at value-added product. Then mechanical pomegranate aerial extractor. You know that an apple a day keeps doctor away. But at the same time, our own anar, ek anar so bimar. Kahavat suni hai ki nahi? Have you heard this saying? Ek anar so bimar. So that means the potential of this fruit is 100 times more than the apple. Why can't we consume it every day? Why can't we just get the aerials in the market in this form? We have developed a machine to remove the aerials, and then thereafter they process it so that they can be hard, likeable for 15 days when they kept in the refrigerator. Then in that case, on our airports, on our bus stations, they should be available. Today, we get only junk food. If you go to Thailand, if you go to Bangkok, you will find all processed food there, vegetables, osmodehydrated fruits. But here, we always get the chips made by Pepsi. I don't have anything grudge against Pepsi, but those are the things they are flooding the market, and we don't get these fruits, which are plentifully available here. They could be osmodehydrated and made available at very affordable cost. So, aloe vera gel extractor. If farmers grow aloe vera, but they don't know how to extract the gel because it becomes a bitter in taste. So this is a simple machine developed by one of our centers, and where the good quality gel, by taking out upper part and lower part, is prepared, and then that can go as a raw material for Swami Ramdev to make whatever juices he wants to make. The recommendations come uphill, and this is my last slide. I think I have kept to the time. So most of the indigenous fruits and vegetables and millets are nutraceuticals and functional foods. That is one thing we should remember. Whatever we grow, it is all world needs as a nutraceutical and functional foods. And hence, increase their consumption in the daily diet. If you want to remain fit, you do that. Consume one seasonal fruit a day, okay, to get vitamins and minerals for your good health. Second thing I would like to say, that when you greet somebody, don't take the flowers with you. Don't take the expensive greeting cards with you. You take a basket of fruits with you. So the family where you take it, that they will be compelled to consume that fruit, and you will have a satisfaction of improving their health. Then third thing which I would like to say, that consumed mixed fruit jam to make milkshake. Whenever you make milkshake, I do that. Some 2 spoons of mixed fruit jam, if you put it in the milk, it makes a very good milkshake. Why I'm telling this? Because making jam is the simplest food processing technology. If we have plenty of jam units, and if you make a habit of consuming jam with our roti, consuming jam in your bread, consuming jam in a milkshake, then I think there will be more and more of those industries. And once the industries they come, backward linkages with the farmers will definitely be there, and losses will be less. With this, I thank you very much for patient hearing. I'm done with my presentation. Thank you very much.